Hi, I'm Timothy Zahn, and I'm a scruffy looking Nerf herder.
It's never going to change that.
I mean, why even bother? Like, really, that's pretty much the peak. What else can we get that would be better than him? I mean, honestly, I don't even think having George Lucas do it would top Timothy Zahn.
I think Kathleen Kennedy might.
It would be her doing it, and then one of us just walking and just fucking right in the back of the head. But we don't condone violence.
Nope. We do not.
Nope. But welcome everyone to the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders. This is a live streaming video podcast by Star Wars fans for Star Wars fans. Surprise, we're Star Wars fans. Today,
you wouldn't know it by how we talk.
Definitely can't tell. Watch the Heir to the Empire review, and you'll understand that we really are Star Wars fans. But anyways, we're continuing our episodic review of Star Wars Skeleton Crew with Season 1, Episode 2, Way, Way Out Past the Barrier. Yep, that was my initial thought as well.
I had a hard time with this one.
At least it wasn't a popcorn debt they were having a scuttle over.
That's true.
This time it was ramen.
That was the thing. And they had Old Republic coins. This is where they like dropped the mystery. They're like, oh, but they're from a secret planet. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
Like, okay, cool. They have old coins. Like, the thing is, old coins only have meaning to people that give it meaning. Like, if it's like, I have some shit that once meant something to people, and it was found off the coast of fucking South Africa and looks cool as shit. I can get like 2 cents for it. I think last time I got the coin appraised, it was like $5 or something. But it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, sure, it's gold, but what's the fucking, who gives a shit about gold in the galaxy far, far away? There's got to be more precious shit out there.
Well, apparently nothing's more precious than Old Republic credits.
I guess.
Because as soon as those were flashed, people lost their shit. They started freaking out. Like, people across the bar, where do you get Old Republic credits? And the guy that's, like, taking it, he's just like, Mwah! Like, everyone lost their shit. Then random pirates just show up, and they're just like, we're scary and intimidating. Give me credits.
I'm sorry, but you're going to make Urkel a fucking pirate and expect me to dread him? Like, you go from a fucking werewolf pirate to Urkel with a shaved head and cybernetic eye? No, fuck you. Don't spit in my face and tell me it's rain.
So
because I'm probably not going to believe you after the third time it happens.
After the third time. I learned my lessons.
Eventually.
Oh, man, this was so painful. Because it was infinitely shorter. I think it was like 20 some odd minutes or something.
That is one thing I do appreciate about this. And the only thing that I think is going to keep me possibly sticking with it is that it's such short run times. Like, it's not like the Acolyte where it's an hour, but it feels like 7.
Yeah. This
feels like an hour, but it was 20 minutes.
Yeah. That is easier to tolerate. Yeah, for me, the first one seemed like it went way too long. Mm-hmm. And this one just went by like that. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, wait, why even tell the story? Like, what was the story? They got put in jail and a Jedi rescued them. That was it. That was the whole thing.
That was exciting. I mean, they got their lunch money stolen. So there was that.
But that's like a Tuesday for them.
Yeah.
I just don't understand what made this an interesting story and why people are losing their shit other than Jude Law doing this.
And who fucking cares?
I don't get Jude Law's the attraction.
Neither do I. I can't name a single role of his just off the top of my head that I thought, man, if it wasn't him, that wouldn't have been that role.
I couldn't name a role.
That's part of it too. I couldn't say a goddamn thing that he's been in.
I couldn't name movies. And I have no idea.
Yeah.
Chris felt he never understood coin collecting.
I agree.
Wasn't this refreshing a bit though after the Acolyte? Look.
Nope.
Look. Having wax dripped into my eyeballs is refreshing after the Acolyte. But I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't desire it. I wouldn't be like, that was better. It would just be like, there's wax in my eyes.
It's a difference of sticking your dick in a light socket versus a pencil sharpener.
Oh my God.
Neither of it's good.
I'm just imagining these machines that someone crafted specifically for this practice. No, this is for your penis. Just not
Yeah,
pencils. You don't have pencils that's big. Come on.
yeah, I don't know. It's like, yes, this is slightly more palatable than the Acolyte, but the Acolyte, we got to see people die, so it's hard. I don't ever want to defend the
Man, that is
Acolytes.
so brutal that's where we are.
Yeah,
We're like, yeah, but at least in that show we saw X or Y. In this
that's
one, it's just like, fuck, we've seen it all before. It's
hmm
literally nothing new.
hmm
It's so frustrating. And I think this is the most egregious of the episodes because it didn't provide anything. We didn't learn anything new. It didn't really take us anywhere special. It was just like, no, this was literally a tack on of the first episode, but
hmm
we just re-edited it so that it was its own.
pretty much. Like it didn't need to be a standalone.
I don't know. It's so disappointing. And this is going to be one of those things. Do we know how many episodes?
I have not even looked it up.
Is it
I
8,
will
10,
uh,
87?
probably
Like
87.
3? I don't know anymore. Whatever it is, it's probably around 8 to 10-ish episodes because that's sort of their MO right now.
Right.
And I'm not going to be like on the edge of my seat going, I wonder what happens next week. Like,
Nope.
what misadventures are those scamps going to get into next?
Yeah.
Because that's the tone that they're setting up that we should be talking like. But this isn't 1950s. We are individuals that consume media by the second now,
Yeah.
not by the week. You can't give us like old school storytelling and expect us to not recognize that one, we've already seen it 1,000 times, and two, it's not any better than it was back then to an audience now that doesn't give a fuck about it, except that everyone does. So can you rack your brain around like what the fuck? Like why is everyone like coming to this?
Yeah, I really don't get it. So it looks like we have an 8 count for
Oh man. All right.
the season. Which the only nice thing with that is it's gonna be quick. Like you could blow through the season once it's all out in a fucking evening. And looking at the directing list, it's like mostly David Lowery and John Watts because they're the writers, and then just a random sprinkling of people that have done other Star Wars episodes. It's like why that's not going to add anything to it.
Yeah, the story's written. You're just interpreting it.
Mm-hmm.
We need to borrow an 11-year-old to watch this with. I feel like I could steal an 11. I mean, borrow one.
Yeah.
I live next to a school. Like,
Yeah, it'd be
literally.
real easy. Actually, so do I. Fuck, it'd be super easy.
Let's just grab our own and
Put
we'll
a
meet
pin
up.
in that.
We're not going to touch you. We're just going to watch Skeleton Crew. Oh, I'm going to say you touched me because that's so much worse.
Right. It's like, can you just do that instead? I want to watch this shit. Yeah, it just.
Can you molest me instead of watching it?
I feel like that'd be more interesting. Quite frankly. Yeah, I don't.
Wow.
I don't get it. It was so fucking boring. Like, oh, okay, we're jumping out of hyperspace and we're going to a pirate hub. And then they get robbed for lunch money. And then they go to jail. And then Jude Law force breaks them out. And then the robot saves them somehow?
Yeah. Yeah, it was literally just like, hey, let's throw that in. Oh, let's do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's a pop. Look, let's do that too. Ugh. I don't know, man. I don't want to be a curmudgeon. I wanted to like this.
That's
I
the
wanted-
problem. Is we don't watch this shit to hate it. That's stupid. We watch this shit because we hope that they're going to be able to finally do something right.
Yeah.
Because when they do, it's fucking amazing. It's mind-blowing. It changes the world. But the rest of the time, we get this kind of shit.
Yeah. It's rough because it's like they can do it, but it's almost like they refuse to.
Yeah.
And I get the argument that inevitably follows. Well, this wasn't made for you. This was made for children. And then I would say, No, Star Wars was made for children. That's what we're talking about. You're talking about another IP in a galaxy far, far away. That's not the same thing. And understanding that difference is germane to the whole fucking point of the fucking idea of owning an IP and having that IP be itself and not trying to shove your nonsense into it in order to make it something else, because then it's not the thing anymore. That's why people rejected wholeheartedly the Acolyte, because it wasn't fucking Star Wars. It was a feminist diatribe, which in its own context, I'm here for.
Yeah.
But in the context of Star Wars, I'm not. And like you could just go down the line with Book of Boba Fett and like even Obi-Wan. Like it had some episodes, but for the most part, and doing stuff like Resistance, like Rebels worked because it paid off Star Wars. Resistance didn't work because it didn't. It tried to do like some weird Japanese race car driver, speed racer thing in space, which is not the same thing. And that's all that they're doing with this. And so I'm just left frustrated.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's people like Chris who's like, I'm okay with shows like this. He's going to strangle you with Cinnabons.
You know what? Can I fucking go out that way too? I wouldn't, bitch.
On my time, let it be Cinnabon.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I do wish I appreciated this, but it's so far off the mark that it's frustrating and it's disappointing. I
have nothing to say. I mean, were you surprised by the fact that they're not able to find their home after they just left it?
No.
First of all, it's in the hyperspace fucking machine. That's so stupid. The hyperspace machine.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like there's calculations and shit like that are internally stored because you're supposed to be able to at the a couple of buttons go beep boop beep. All right. The computer hurry up and navigates this extremely complex theory, and then we go there. So yeah, it's just like, oh, why don't we just hit Control B to find out what the last destination was? Yeah. Not to mention, there's a fucking droid on the fucking ship that crash landed on the fucking planet.
Yeah.
That's still there. It still exists. Like, it's going to have something in its fucking memory banks.
Yeah, they clearly couldn't have been wiped after he landed, so he knows where he went. The information stored in the databank, because the only way to calculate hyperspace is to know where you are to get to where you're going to. That is integral. You can't just willy-nilly, and they explain that in Star Wars. You'll end up going through a fucking sun or something.
Including the Disney movies.
It's so fucking frustrating.
Yeah, it's the disregard for the IP that bothers me the most. Yeah. Like, just call it something else.
Yeah.
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
I would not complain at all if this was called something else. At all. You call this Star Trek, I don't give a fuck. I don't care about
this feels more like Star Trek than Star Wars.
Just call it anything. Kids on Space. Okay. Like, I'll watch it. Fine. I don't care.
Kids in Space sounds fun. And you know what you're getting. Kids in Space. It's going to be mind-numbingly stupid, but there's going to be bright colors and wacky adventures.
I wonder if there's going to be a moment where we realize like Jude Law's character is really like a Catholic priest looking for his new altar boy. This is all just like a test.
I believe it. I believe it.
I want to make sure you're nimble. It's terrible. Never mind. I take it all back. Take it all back immediately. Did you have a favorite moment of this episode?
No, not really. I mean,
seeing the ramen bowls was pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, the ramen looked pretty dope, and I will give them this: the pirate captain that's the werewolf is boss as fuck. But that's pretty much the only thing I like about this.
Yeah,
like everybody except Urkel actually looks like they could be a terrifying pirate.
I can't believe he's like acting. Like, behind a mask, do your thing, because then we don't see Saved by the Bell or fucking Family Matters. But we see Family Matters. Like, we can't not see. I got my nerds mixed up. All right, Chris, does this remind you of Space Camp in the 80s? I did see that. That was great. That's the thing. They had original shows. Just meant stupid as this like show, but it was all just for kids, and it was its own thing. And it was okay because it was its own thing.
Yeah.
Learn the lesson. Damn Disney fuckers. All right.
Yeah. It's
Well,
just they have no faith in the property itself, so they have to do other things with it. And I really do think that's what it is.
I think you're right. Did you have a least favorite moment of this episode?
When I pressed play, because I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah. Are we going to continue doing these?
That's the hard part, because it's like
we've done bad things before.
We did. I mean, of course, originally before the Acolyte, we did Resistance.
Yeah.
And then we did the Acolyte. And it's like both of those were probably worse than this. But there's got to be something worse than those two.
Yeah.
Because, for how bad Resistance was, the Acolyte was far worse.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Do a little soul searching. We'll have to come to Jesus moment for Skeleton Crew, and we'll figure it out. Clearly, Chris wants us to do it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I don't know if you would call this a review.
I mean, we did just that. We gave our honest review about it.
Yeah.
It was a turd sandwich.
We invite you to subscribe to the Turd Sandwich Speaking Show.
Hell yeah.
Click the bell to get notified about upcoming videos, and click the like button, especially if you didn't like it. Just show us. Like, give us, 4? You know what I mean? Just like, fuck you, and click that like button.
Yeah.
You can also support the channel by buying shirts and clicking subscribe, and we will send you
if you really
messages.
want to get the message across that you don't like us, buy a shirt and then write "sucks" underneath the logo.
Show us.
Oh man, we'd be so disappointed in you.
Embarrassed.
Yeah, it did definitely show us.
All right, well, until the Infernal Brotherhood, the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders rises again. I don't know. It sounds like I should be like, returns to the silver screen. May the force be with you.
The dirt is really dirty.
That was the thing.
That was absolutely right.
Hey, thanks, Chris.